Greetings, I'm Zachary Hepner. I'm pleased to share this Dvar Torah with you for Parashat Emor. In contemporary parlance, the GOAT is an anacronym for the greatest of all time. Maybe Jackie Robsinson was the GOAT. Maybe Michael Jordan was the GOAT. In Judaism, the Almighty is the GOAT. In the Bible, it's hard to call a hero the GOAT because who is our hero in the Bible who doesn't have flaws? In Parashat Emor, Esau is not the GOAT. He is just a he-goat. On to Parashat Emor. It first enumerates the highlighted laws of the kohanim and the kohen gadol. Then Leviticus 22 enumerates the restrictions regarding the animals that will be sacrificed in order for the sacrifices to be acceptable offerings. Following the laws of the kohanim and then the sacrificial animal characteristics, the Torah continues with the laws of the Moadim, the appointed Jewish holidays. That pericope is read in synagogue during the holidays. In order to shed light on chapter 22, let's start with a Medrash Pelia in Breshit Rabbah. Vahi erev vahi boker yom echad. Breshit Rabbah 2:3. Vayikra Elohim laor yom ze Yaakov, v'lachoshech kara layla ze Esav. Vahi erev ze Esav. Vahi boker ze Yaakov. Vahi erev arbo shel Yosef. Vahi boker bokro shel Yaakov. Yom echad shenatano HaKadosh Baruch Hu ve'ezozo Yom Kippurim. Yom echad, on the very first day, that day was given. That day represents Yom Kippur. Many decades ago, perhaps in 1990, Rabbi Heshi Grossman quoted this medrash, and possibly quoting the late Rabbi Moshe Shapiro, related this strange medrash to Genesis 33, where Jacob and Esau encounter, and one goes to Seir, like the Seir LaAzazel, the goat that gets sent away, and Jacob goes to Sukkot, like the sacrifice to God, and the holiday that follows Yom Kippur. I feel that this particular Medrash Pelia deserves further pilpul and actually sheds brilliant light, not only to Leviticus 22, but to the entire structure of Leviticus. The Medrash Pelia interjects the themes of Yom Kippur onto the first day of creation. Let's backtrack. The Medrash is asking a question. Why do all other days of creation use cardinal numbers 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, but the first day of creation uses an ordinal number, first day, as opposed to day 1? The question might be better than the answer, but the author of this Medrash, who's Rabbi Yehuda ben Simon, felt that this first day was not an ordinary day, and with the intended pun, an ordinal yet not ordinary day is linked to another very not ordinary day, and the most not ordinary day of the year is the Day of Atonement. That is the final line of the Medrash. Ve'ezozeh Yom HaKippurim. Hold that thought, because it might only be theoretical, but the Torah is intertwined with everything. Genesis 33, the return of Jacob from Padan Aram to the jaws of Esau is itself linked to Leviticus 22. Again, Genesis 33 is linked to Leviticus 22. Genesis 22, I quote, L'rtzonchem tamim zachar babakar ba'ksavim v'vezim. It must to be acceptable in your favor be a male without blemish from cattle or sheep or goats. You shall not offer any that has a defect, for it will not be accepted in your favor. It must be tamim to be acceptable, be without blemish. There must be no defect in it. Anything blind, injured, maimed, you shall not offer to Hashem anything with its testes bruised or crushed or cornered or cut. You shall have no such practices in your land. Uva'artzachem lo ta'asu. Nor shall you accept animals from a foreigner for offering as lechem bread to your God. They shall not be acceptable in your favor. When an ox or sheep or goat is born, it shall stay 7 days with its mother, and from the 8th day on it shall be acceptable as an offering by fire to Hashem. However, no animal from the herd or from the flock shall be slaughtered on the same day with its young, b'yom echad. Now let's return back to the verse 22. There are 3 domesticated animals that must be tamim, unblemished. Tamim means unblemished. Cattle, sheep, goats. The main character in Genesis 33 is Jacob. Jacob is obsessed with protecting his flock and himself from Esau. Leah, in Akkadian, echoes cattle. Rachel, in Ivrit, echoes sheep. And Esau is the goat, or Esau is the he-goat, uva izim. Those animal connections have been well established already. Verse 20 requires all offerings to be tamim, and of course that echoes our hero, Jacob, who is an ish tamim. Jacob is first described as an unblemished child of Isaac in the ohel, in the tent, while Esau is a hairy goat in the field, making it clear that Jacob is worthy as a sacrifice to the Almighty, while Esau never properly fits as a sacrifice. However, right prior to Jacob's return to the Holy Land, he struggles with Samael, the angel of Esau, or he struggles with an angel, where Jacob becomes maimed. The text is ambiguous whether Jacob is maimed into a limp, or he is further maimed at his male member. Either way, the claim that an injured or a maimed or genitally bruised animal is not a tamim is itself a tautology, meaning Jacob is no longer tamim. Jacob has lost his tamimut status before crossing the Jabbok River. The location of the Jabbok struggle further explains three strange words. Uva artsechem lo ta'asu. Those three words are out of place. You shall not perform such practice in the Holy Land. The pshat means that no such animal may be brought as a sacrifice, but Chazal interpret those words to forbid castration of any male animal in or outside the Holy Land by any Jew or Gentile. Esau's angel knew well that as soon as Jacob would cross the Jabbok River, the violation of artsechem lo ta'asu would have prevented the angel from maiming Jacob. So he had to sterilize Jacob outside the Holy Land, on the other side of the Jabbok River, and not to violate castration. Uva artsechem lo ta'asu. When Jacob sees Esau in chapter 33, he was in the Holy Land, but he was no longer an ish tamim, no longer fit as a sacrifice. For that reason, Jacob tried his hardest to keep his family, no pun intended, intact, prevent Dinah from becoming defiled as a zonah, and to reach Shechem in a state of intactness. Shalem ir Shechem. Following the encounter with Esau, Jacob goes to Sukkot and then eventually to Shechem, and Esau to Seir, which of course resonates with the goats. Jacob goes to God and Esau to the field, which of course echoes the Yom Kippur service when one goat becomes a sacrifice to God while the other gets sent away outside the temple. But Jacob had an ace card up his sleeve. Chapter 33 concludes the last verse with Jacob erecting an altar and calling it Vayatzev lo mizbeach, Vayikra lo El, Elohei Yisrael. He set up an altar there and called it El Elohei Yisrael. The altar was not called El, the God of Jacob, but El, the God of Israel. Jacob may have been blemished, but his new name is Israel, and that name is unblemished. Let's revisit the Medrash in Genesis chapter 1. The Medrash focuses on day being time for Jacob, and the nighttime representing the obfuscation of theodicy, being prime time for Esau. However, the cardinal mentioning of the day one, not the ordinal mentioning of the first day, also echoes Yom Kippur. Somehow, there, the first primal day and the very special nature of Yom Kippur is linked. Connecting the dots, Exodus 32 and 33, the narrative of Jacob struggling with the angel and the encounter of Esau connects with Leviticus 22's violation of bringing a defective offering. And connecting the Medrash of Yom Echad in Genesis chapter 1 connects with Yom Kippur, is linked with the subsequent commandment in Leviticus, V'shor oseh, oto ve'et beno, lo tishchatu b'yom echad. That's usually translated as don't slaughter an ox or ram with its children on the same day. But linking to Exodus 33 inserts much more meaning into that verse. Let's reread it in this light. Leah and Rachel and Jacob, don't slaughter them, nor their children, nor their sons on the same day. Leah being a shor, and Rachel being a se oto, ve'et beno, Jacob and sons. Don't slaughter beyom echad. Don't slaughter them together on Yom Kippur. Yom echad. There is one day a year when the goat of Jacob is slaughtered and the goat of Esau is sent away. And that special day that highlights the differences between the theological directions between Jacob and Esau, because one goes this way, one goes the other way, and never the twain shall meet. Again, there are numerous supporting ideas and texts that the pericopes are placing special importance on Yom Kippur. For one, Yom Kippur and Anacronym is a Shabbat, Shabbaton. Whatever that means, it means that Shabbat is special and Yom Kippur is very special. Immediately following this law is the introduction of the holidays that start with the one non-holiday, Shabbat. However, this time Shabbat is called Sheshet Yamim Taseh Melacha Uvayom Hashvi'i Shabbat Shabbaton Mikra Kodesh. Shabbat also is a Shabbat Shabbaton. This echoes the theme of Yom Kippur in the previous narrative. The theme of connecting the Jacob-Esau conflicts into Leviticus is not only for Parashat Emor, but a theme that takes up much of the structure of Leviticus. Parashat Metzorah has the two purification birds. One is sacrificed, one bird is sent away. Parashat Emor deals with two he-goats and the Yom Kippur service. One goat is sacrificed, one goat is sent away. Parashat Emor again hammers in the themes of Jacob and Esau with the qualified and unqualified sacrifices. But the Medrash Breshit Rabbah on Yom Echad, day one, sheds light, no pun intended, Vaikra Elokim Laor Yom, and Yom Echad. We think of the two purification birds, and that they are similar to each other, and the two he-goats as similar. But we don't think of Jacob and Esau as similar. We think of them as very dissimilar. Not so, says this Medrash. Esau and Jacob are the two he-goats. They are much more similar than you think, just that Esau is controlled by the darkness, and the other, Jacob, is searching for light. Listen to the words of the Medrash. Vayhi erev arbo shel Esav. That sounds like the evening of Esau, but it also means arbo, the confusion of Esau. Lack of light brings in confusion. Daytime brings clarity. That's why Zechariah chapter 14 is also cited in this Medrash, the day where there will be no more confusion regarding the unity of God. And Yom Echad, that is the day that we celebrate annually to demonstrate in plain terms that we will not follow the footsteps, that we will follow the footsteps of Jacob, who searched for the light, even when he was stuck in the arbo, the thicket of the night. Wishing you all a Shabbat Shalom, v'Yeshua krova lavo.